सो अंजलि, पायलट बनने का डिसीजन कब पक्का हुआ लाइफ में?
Okay, so to be very honest, like being a pilot was never on course. So I come from a business oriented family. My dad is into business. So my dad always wanted that I should join the family business or I should start something of my own.
How many
Pilots are coming in.
continuous flight hours are permissible? आप कितने घंटे continuously fly कर सकते हो और उसके बाद the rest is compulsory for the
I
pilot?
think for the commercial flights, it's 12 to 14 hours.
Okay, not more than that.
Not more than that. Obviously, not more than that.
सो अगर जब आप फ्लाई करते हो ना हाई एल्टीट्यूड के ऊपर, तो मौसम की खराबी सबने एक्सपीरियंस की हुई है एंड एवरीबडी गेट्स स्टार्ट फीलिंग दैट हार्ट पंपिंग ज़्यादा जब क्लाउड बीच में आते हैं और ये सारी चीज़ें एक बहुत ही कॉमन थिंग है जो एज एन इंजीनियर मैं जानती हूँ, बट शायद हमारी ऑडियंसेस नहीं जानती होगी। मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप उनको एक्सप्लेन करें और बताइए कि ये कितना ज़रूर है वाइल यू आर फ्लाइंग और टेकिंग ऑफ फ़ोन्स को और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस को एयरप्लेन मोड में डालना या स्विच ऑफ करना, जो ज़्यादातर लोग नहीं करते हैं। लड़कियां कार नहीं चला सकती, लड़कियां गाड़ी अच्छे से नहीं चला सकती, लड़कियां ट्रक नहीं चला सकती, लड़कियां रिक्शा नहीं चला सकती, लड़कियां बस नहीं चला सकती, लड़कियां क्या चला सकती है? आज लड़कियां प्लेन तक उड़ा रही है। आज के हमारे गेस्ट जो है ना, शी इज़ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल और बहुत ही ज़्यादा टैलेंटेड है, अंजलि जाडेजा, जो एक कमर्शियल पायलट है। आज हम उनसे जानेंगे कि कमर्शियल पायलट बनने के लिए एक तो चैलेंजेस क्या क्या होती है, क्या क्या स्टडी करना पड़ता है और किस तरीके की विडंबनाएं आती है जब एक फ़ीमेल कमर्शियल पायलट बनती है। तो चलिए उनसे जानते हैं आज कि हम किस तरीके से एविएशन सेक्टर में फीमेल्स अपना करियर बना सकती है। सो अंजलि, पायलट बनने का डिसीजन कब पक्का हुआ लाइफ में?
Okay, so to be very honest, like being a pilot was never on course. So I come from a business oriented family. My dad is into business. So my dad always wanted that I should join the family business or I should start something of my own in business sector. And prior this, I was studying finance and business at the business school.
Okay.
So it was at the time of Corona that I was at home and everything was like off. So my dad was like, you should try giving some exams and all. And जैसे हर पेरेंट बोलते हैं कि IPS की एग्ज़ाम दे दो या do something at least घर पे बैठ के you prepare something. So I always had this, I was always fascinated towards aviation. I always had admired aviation. So I was like, I want to do something into aviation. Pilot was not the clear target at that time, but then I was like exploring because nobody from my family is from aviation. I'm the first one to go into it. So even I wasn't aware that how you can start even if you want to go with the engineering part or ATC or being a pilot. So I was just surfing the internet that what options I can choose in aviation or what things I can start. So if you are aware that when you search something then ad comes in, so again and again I used to get the ads, join pilot training, being a pilot is fun and all those things. So I gave a thought. I was like, if I can drive a car really well, I can try flying a plane. That would be so cool. I'll be a pilot and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I want to do this. But that was just a stupid thought. I didn't had that awareness that it's not a easy path. Being a pilot comes with a lot of responsibility and lot of things comes with it. It's just not like you wore the uniform and you'll go and fly the plane. It's not like that. I got to know that way too later. So I asked my dad, I want to pursue aviation, and he was like, you are studying business and finance and now you want to go into aviation. How does that relate? I was like, no, I really feel, I want to wear that uniform and I want to pursue aviation and I want to go particularly for the pilot, because by qualification I only can pursue pilot thing at that time. Even ATC was an option, but at that time I was not bit qualified for that, and that is, I think, bit of tough, I think, पायलट बनना और ATC में बहुत डिफरेंस होता है. लाइक पायलट इज बिट इजी, आई वुड से. So so my dad was like, okay, I'll allow that only if you clear your exams and paperwork, and I won't help you in anything. You won't get any support from anywhere. You have to figure out everything. So like today also, if somebody asks me out, I do say this: only if you have the capability of doing everything alone, then only you should step in. So I figured out everything. I sat on my laptop. I searched everything. I saw YouTube videos and read articles over it, and I started following the influencers who were pilots.
Okay.
So that way it initiated. Then I started studying about it and then joined the classes. So eventually it started like that. So then with the time phase, I realized that it's not at all easy path. There were times that even I was in that phase कि मैंने क्यों start कर दिया, and
It was difficult.
it was very difficult because when you prepare a lot and when you go with that excitement and इतने खुशी लेके आप जाते हो एग्ज़ाम देने, और आपका जब क्लियर नहीं होता है पेपर, कि आपका तो अभी ग्राउंड चल रहा है, ग्राउंड क्लासेस ही आपके क्लियर नहीं हो रहे, या ग्राउंड एग्जाम्स ही आपके क्लियर नहीं हो रहे हैं, एट दैट टाइम यू फील सो डीमोटिवेटेड कि अभी तो पूरी ट्रेनिंग बाकी है, हाउ वुड आई क्लियर ऑल दोज थिंग्स. बट इवेंचुअली इफ़ यू आर वे टू डेडिकेटेड विथ इट, देन ठीक है, हो जाता है.
What was your proud moment during your academics?
The proud moment, I would say there were a lot of proud moments. I cannot say that this was the specific moment, but the first time that I sat in the aircraft and I had my AirX. So AirX is basically after you get to your training pilot's license, that is SPL, student pilot license, and you fly for the first time. So like you get to experience the aircraft, and when you are airborne for the first time as a pilot, as a trainee pilot. So I think that is the most memorable and most proud moment, I would say, because I didn't thought कि I'll come this far, and then eventually I figured out everything. Even when I had went for my flight training institute's admission and everything, then I was alone to do it. My parents didn't even knew कि how things are gonna be, how I'll figure out everything. So I think the fact that I did everything on my own, I figured out everything, even from the smallest to whatever you can say. So that was the proud moment, I would say. But yeah, this which I mentioned as a
And the scary moment?
scary moment, like with God's grace, I didn't had any scary moment as of now. But yeah, when weather is not clear, or the scary moment is like when your sortie has been scheduled. Sortie is like in your training period when you have to fly, and that gets cancelled. So that is the scariest part, I would say. कि okay, today is my sortie. I wish that doesn't get cancelled out. So I think that is what I would say the scary part, in a funny way I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah, as of now, I have
Otherwise,
not faced any scariest moment.
Anjali, I welcome you to my podcast, Business and Beyond. Thank you so much for coming to my podcast. And you are the first female pilot on my podcast, let me tell you. So we welcome you in our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here. Really glad to be here with you and your team. Thank you so much.
Gen Z पायलट, उसमें भी फीमेल पायलट. अंजलि, इसके बारे में थोड़ा बताइए. हाउ, बिकॉज एक तो जेन जीज को टैग किया जाता है कि बहुत ही रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, और पायलट, बीइंग अ पायलट, बहुत सारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ आता है. और उसके बाद एक फीमेल को बोला जाता है कि ये कार भी कैसे चला सकती है, उस पर इतने टैग होते हैं. तो उसमें से एक पायलट बनना और फ्लाई करना, ये सब कैसे हो रहा है?
Okay, so there are two parts to it. Okay, if you are choosing to be a pilot, then either you need to be madly passionate about aviation and being a pilot, either you should be personally way too disciplined towards this field and towards being a pilot and towards the process. So if you're not either of these, then obviously this place is not for you. And yes, being a Gen Z, um, after you wear that uniform, you have to keep everything aside, to be very frank, because it comes with a lot of accountability, responsibility, and you have to be firm with this thing that, okay, you are not doing something which is like very common and which is very easy. And if there's some mistake as well, it can be easily rectified, it cannot. So yeah, Gen Z thing is okay on a side, but after wearing that uniform, after being on the track, you have to be determined with that particular thought itself that now you are gonna get trained for it. This is gonna be your life. So you have to be bit responsible, determined, and bit formal as well. And being a girl, it feels amazing and it is fun to break the stereotypes. And when you see the faces of those people that, oh, she's a female and she's flying an aircraft, she's a female pilot. Yeah, I mean, those faces are so funny. So eventually for me, if you ask me personally, for me it was like way too fun to break those stereotypes. And like my family, with God's grace, has always been supportive in that manner. My parents have never differentiated between me and my brother. They have never put that gender discrimination wala thing in between, that no, if you are a woman you cannot do certain things. My dad always was like, doesn't matter, you are my child, you have to do something exceptional. It doesn't matter if you're doing this or that. And with the driving part, the fun fact, my dad had made me learn driving a car when I was in 7th and 8th. So from that age itself, my parents were quite supportive with that. But yeah, in this generation, if we say Gen Z generation, then yeah, you have to keep the Gen Z wala fun part thoda sa side mein when you are choosing being a pilot as a profession, I would say.
अंजलि, आपके करियर का या आपके एकेडमिक्स का जब आप पायलट बनने के लिए ट्रेन किए जाते हो, कितनी मुश्किलें होती है, कितनी तकलीफ़ें आती है, आप अगर बता पाए तो, कि फ्लाइंग में, बिकॉज मेल डोमिनेटेड फील्ड बोला गया है, तो बीइंग अ फीमेल आपको कौन सी तकलीफ़ें आती रही है, और आपको लगता है कि यू एंटिसिपेट के फ्यूचर में भी शायद अगर लॉन्ग आवर्स फ्लाइंग होगा आपका कमर्शियली एज अ पायलट, तो ये सारी चीज़ें आपको परेशान करेगी फ्यूचर में?
Right, very good question though. So yes, it is a difficult path, as I mentioned earlier, that once you start your training and once you start your classes and everything, you will realize that it's not easy and you have to be determined from day one till day end. So when you are getting trained for it, obviously you are learning something exceptional, which is not common, which is like very rare, and people aren't aware about it, right? Even you are not aware about it.
Of course.
You have obviously studied about it, but you study the checklist or study the parameters of it, and personally when you go and fly something for the first time, yeah, obviously we are trained for it, like rigorous training has been given to every pilot. Then you get habitual to all those challenges, pressure, and rigorous training. But thing is, yeah, eventually you have to keep yourself very much firm towards it, that you are doing something exceptional. So it's not going to be easy. Rare things are never easy. It's a saying. So if you're doing something which is rare, then you have to keep that mindset as well, that it is going to be difficult, and you have to prepare yourself like that. You have to keep your mindset like that, not just from day one, every day.
डिफ़िकल्ट पार्ट आपको कौन सा लगता है, मतलब जब आप
Difficult
फ्लाई
part,
करते हो तब प्रैक्टिकली ये डिफ़िकल्ट हो जाता है लड़की के लिए, when you are flying and sitting long hours in the cockpit?
Yeah.
So-
So I would say like that there's a saying that when you are in the cockpit, it's not female or male, you are a pilot
Okay,
at the
very
end.
well said.
It is not, they won't, even your instructors won't see that you are a female or male. You are a pilot, because of course at the end you are responsible for your own safety first and then others as well. So when you are in the cockpit, you have to be determined that okay, any situation or the circumstances are there, no matter what. Yes, while you are getting trained, the instructor is there. But what after your solo? Once you are released solo, once you fly for your cross country, and like even for the commercial flight, you have to be that much determined and that much capable of covering that difficulties. And the difficult part is like, again, it depends on person to person. Like somebody are like way too good with their skill development and with their operating skills, I would say, and some take time to grab those skills. But at the end, every pilot needs to grab those capabilities and those skills to clear every difficult part, because it's not like every day would be same and every circumstances or every situation would be same for every pilot. Maybe there could be a technical failure, there could be some weather change, there would be some difficulty with the landing part. So I won't say that this specific part would be the difficult
What is
part.
more landing, like takeoff or the landing? What is the more difficult part?
Landing.
Landing?
Takeoff is bit of fun. Landing is more crucial. Takeoffs are usually easy, fun. I won't say easy is a not proper word to use here, but yeah, most difficult is landing, most crucial, because you are coming, you are on a constant speed, you have to slow down that. While takeoff, it's bit easy, like in technical parts, if I have to say.
मैं थोड़ा सा एक चीज़ के बारे में पूछना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि जब भी कोई एयर एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं वहाँ पे एक पार्ट का बहुत ज़्यादा जिक्र होता है, विच इज़ ब्लैक बॉक्स. अगर आपको पता हो तो मैं जानना चाहती हूँ फ्रॉम यू एज अ पायलट कि ये ब्लैक बॉक्स होता क्या है, उसमें क्या क्या डेटा या इन्फॉर्मेशन स्टोर होती है, और क्यों इतना इम्पॉर्टेंट है जब क्रैशेस होते हैं या जब कोई पायलट has recorded some data into black box, तो उसका यूज़ यूटिलाइजेशन क्या होता है, और आफ्टर द क्रैश वो क्यों इतना इम्पॉर्टेंट पार्ट बन जाता है फ्लाइट का?
So a black box is basically a box, a application or an instrument, or you can say is a thing where everything has been recorded, which has been implanted by the pilots. It is like whatever you are doing in the cockpit, it has been recorded in that.
Okay.
So even if you have done any mistake or anything happens, any incident or accident, it has been recorded in the black box. You cannot rely over human thing or any other particular factors. So black box is very important part of the cockpit, because in case of any emergency, in case of any incident or accident, black box is the only evidence which you can use to clear out that case, or to clear out or to figure out what actually happened in the cockpit. So in a very simple language, it is used as a evidence to rectify any error happened in the cockpit.
तो ब्लैक बुक क्या इस तरीके से रखा जाता है कि वो कभी डिस्ट्रॉय ना हो कोई भी फ्लाइट एक्सीडेंट्स में, क्योंकि हमेशा वो रिट्राइव होता है ब्लैक
Yes, yes, it is specially made for that purpose. So even recent, अगर आपने देखा हो कुछ वीडियोस सर्फ हुए थे आफ्टर दैट एयर इंडिया क्रैश, you would have seen the black box का picture or maybe videos. So yeah, it is being made specially with that characteristics that in any condition, any circumstances, it is not destroyed.
Okay.
Just to ensure that we can get raw and real data from it, and we can rectify what error has been happening in the cockpit. Whether it's the human error, whether it's the technical error, we can figure out everything from that.
So जब आप फ्लाई करते हो अंजलि, like for long hours, कुछ फ्लाइट्स ऐसी होती है जब कमर्शियल पायलट्स लाइक 10-10 घंटा भी फ्लाई करते हैं, राइट? तो उस पर ह्यूमन कैपेसिटीज़, मतलब 10 आवर्स स्ट्रेट फ्लाई करना इज़ अ वेरी मच मेंटल प्रेशर. तो पायलट्स कैसे डील करते हैं वो मेंटल प्रेशर के साथ? अगर 10-12 घंटे की एक कंटिन्यूस फ्लाइट उनको चलानी है, देयर इज़ ओनली अ पायलट एंड अ को पायलट, सो वो कैसे वो मेंटल प्रेशर से कैसे कोप अप करते हैं?
So as I mentioned that pilots have been trained for it. They have been given rigorous training over it. जैसे अगर मैं बोलूँ लोहे को जितना आप गरम करोगे उतना वो गलेगा, that kind of thing. So pilots are being trained rigorously for it, even in their training phase with the sim checks. So after that rigorous training, this is the फिर भी relaxed part, because you know with the long haul flights you don't need to do much over it.
Okay.
Yeah. So and long haul flights usually are done by experienced pilots only. So after gaining this much of experience, this is like into their blood only now. It is not something which would make them lower down or make them, obviously fatigue is there, tiredness is there after such long haul flight, but as I said, they won't have any such small what we say tiredness or maybe difficulty to fly long haul flights, because they are being habitual towards it. So as I said, if today I'll go for the training part, I won't feel that much difficulty because I have already done that. I have been trained for it. But yeah, from day one, if I have to do, then obviously I'll face a lot of difficulties, a lot of fatigue, tiredness towards it. So yeah.
So इस चीज़ से रिलेटेड आपको पता हो तो एक इश्यू हुआ था इंडिगो एंड और एयरलाइन सेटअप के, जो बीच में पायलट्स जो थे ना उनको रेस्टिंग पीरियड नहीं मिल रहा था, उनके फ्लाइंग आवर्स बहुत कंटिन्यूस चल रहे थे, विच वाज ऑब्जेक्टेड बाय द स्टाफ ऑफ इंडिगो एंड एवरीथिंग. अगर आपको पता हो तो ये सारी चीज़ें चल रही थी. वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट ने एक पैरामीटर रखा था कि इतने फ्लाइंग आवर्स के बाद इतना रेस्ट कंपलसरी है, राइट. बट शायद बहुत सारी कमर्शियल एयरलाइंस उसको फॉलो नहीं कर रही थी. मैं आई जस्ट वांट टू नो योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रिगार्डिंग दैट सिचुएशन. और अगर ये एविएशन का रूल आया है अभी, सो क्या ये इंडिया के लिए अभी नया है, बट डू यू थिंक इंटरनेशनली भी वो रूल फॉलो करा जाता है कि भाई पायलट को इतना रेस्टिंग पीरियड देना चाहिए वाला रूल? तो उसके इंटरनेशनल लॉ स्टैंडर्ड्स क्या है रेस्टिंग पीरियड के, और कितना कंटिन्यूस फ्लाई पायलट्स कर सकते हैं?
See, at the end, pilots are human being, right?
True.
They also have a limit. So obviously they can do long haul flights and they are habitual to such long hours of duty, but at the end even they need rest, because it's a mental game at the end. Mentally you need to be at peace, and even you need to have personal life as well. So keeping those sectors and those factors in mind, government had made out this rule. But because there was like, I think there was like lack of pilots. I don't know the depth
Lack of
of
pilots
it.
in India.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was like, I think, lack of pilots, or they didn't had that much capable pilots to assign and to follow that rule. That's why company and government had this issue, because company was not capable of fulfilling that, and government had issued that keeping those factors in mind. But eventually, because there is a lack of there's a shortage of pilots, I would say they didn't had that much capable of pilots, so that error came in. But yes, this rule has been followed by other countries as well. Abroad it has been followed. In India it will be followed in future as well, because flights are being expanded. A lot of
How many
pilots are coming in.
continuous flight hours are like permissible? आप कितने घंटे continuously fly कर सकते हो और उसके बाद the rest is compulsory for the pilot?
I think for the commercial flights, it's 12 to 14 hours.
Okay, not more than that.
Not more than that. Obviously, not more than that. And that it depends like how many sectors you have done. So the standard is that. Then it depends that which fleet you are flying, with which company you are flying, either with the airline or the NSOP. Then it depends on those factors.
सो अगर जब आप फ्लाई करते हो ना हाई एल्टीट्यूड के ऊपर, सो मौसम की खराबी सबने एक्सपीरियंस की हुई है, एंड एवरीबडी गेट्स स्टार्ट फीलिंग दैट हार्ट पंपिंग
Yeah.
ज़्यादा जब क्लाउड बीच में आते हैं और ये सारी चीज़ें होती है। तो आप जो भी फ्रीक्वेंट फ्लायर्स है, जैसे मैं खुद पैनिक हो जाती हूँ बहुत ज़्यादा जब यू नो इफ़ देयर इज़ अ क्लाउड एंड फ्लाइट इज़ गोइंग इन बिटवीन द क्लाउड ना, तो वो जंप करती है थोड़ा थोड़ा सा।
Yes.
सो ये क्यों होता है, किस तरीके से होता है, एंड हाउ द फ्लाइट takes care of this situation, or how the pilot takes care of this situation when the weather is not right?
Okay, so like from the point of view of a passenger, because you are sitting behind and you don't know what exactly is been happening in the cockpit, and you are not thorough with the procedures and everything, so that's why you get panic. And as a passenger, you are like flying and you are not thorough with the airborne situation, so that's why passengers usually get panic. But as a pilot, as I said, we are trained for all these situations, even on the real flight and even in the simulator as well.
Okay.
Whether it's the engine failure, whether it's the bad weather, whether it's like the turbulent weather, anything you would say, we are trained for it. And we know the procedures, right? If we see that there's a weather radar on board, if we see that there's any patch of some bad weather, then we know how to handle it. We know the procedures. And yes, obviously you are in the air, थोड़ा बहुत turbulence तो होना ही है. You cannot be like it'll be a smooth ride. Yeah, sometimes the weather is bad, so थोड़ा बहुत आसपास से turbulence रहता है, but pilot handles it really well because they know the procedures. They don't panic because they know that we are gonna go through it very easily.
Okay. So technically कुछ ज़्यादा issues नहीं आते अगर bad weather है तो.
Until and unless if there's a bad visibility or like very bad weather, like if you are under any thunderstorm or any cloud burst, then only it happens. But usually pilots avoid that. I don't know if any pilot would choose to go there, but yes, most of the pilot, especially the commercial pilots, would avoid it. Any pilot would avoid the bad weather if he is aware, or he or she is aware about it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the part of flying. Even when we are getting trained for it, even in our trainee flights, we do experience all these things like crosswinds, headwinds, tailwinds. So those are just the part of flying, and we know how to tackle it. So we don't get that much of panic. Yeah.
So Anjali, I want to ask you few question. अभी जितनी भी दुर्घटनाएं होती है एयर प्लेन क्रैशेस की, जहाँ पे आग लगने की आपको पता है कि बहुत ज़्यादा दुर्घटनाएं हो रही है, एज पायलट आप मुझे बताइए कि जो प्लेन क्रैश होता है एंड बहुत सारे प्राइवेट जेट्स अभी क्रैश हुए हैं एंड दे कॉट अप विद द फायर वाइल लैंडिंग, राइट, वो किस वजह से होता है?
See, main reason of getting fire is obviously you are carrying a huge amount of fuel on board. So even thoda sa bhi spark hoga, it'll make a huge fireball out of it. So the moment aircraft has been crashed, fire is gonna happen. That is but natural. That is a technical part. So either if it's a bit of crash land or the flight is getting totally crashed, then fireball is gonna happen.
तो crashes के main reason क्या होता है while landing?
See, there are a lot of factors again towards it. I would say maybe there could be a pilot error, maybe something with the engines, technical error is the most common. But recent incidents, if you considered, then they what they are saying is, what they have mentioned is the pilot error. But after all, it's a machine, there can be a glitch and there can be a mistake over it. Of course, if they're flying, then all the safety protocols has been taken care of. But yes, if the technical error is there, if the pilot error is there, incident and accident is naturally gonna happen. We try to make it safe and rectify all the protocols, but yeah, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. No, if any flight is flying, it won't be possible that they have not made sure that all the safety checklist has been followed or all the protocols has been followed. Obviously they would have made sure of it, even if you say ground staff or the engineers or the pilots, everything would have been followed. But yes, if it is gonna happen, it will happen. That is the thing.
Okay, so major हम अगर vehicles देखें, carriers देखें, so either they are Airbus or Boeing, right?
Yeah.
So I would like to know कि Airbus और Boeing में differences क्या क्या है both aircrafts में?
The size of both the aircrafts is different. The functioning of the cockpit is different. If you see the layout of Airbus is bit of more automation. Automation has been there. The Airbus cockpit is more of like technical friendly, I would say, and even Boeing's cockpit is also technical friendly. But yeah, maneuver in that is more like human maneuver is more in Boeing, but Airbus is more of like automation and technical friendly. In Boeing, the cockpit layout is totally different. The functioning, obviously, it's the same, but yes, the layout and the size and the technical parts are bit different.
बट मेजर जो भी एयर एक्सीडेंट्स हुए अंजलि उसमें ज़्यादातर आपने देखा हो तो बोइंग हैज़ बिन इन्वॉल्व्ड,
Yeah.
वो क्यों?
I
मेजर आप देखोगे ना तो
Yeah.
बोइंग का इन्वॉल्वमेंट ज़्यादा है, एयरबस का शायद इतना इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एयर इंडिया का जो रिसेंट क्रैश हुआ वो
Yeah.
भी डेफिनेटली बोइंग था, बट मैंने जितने भी मेजर हिस्ट्री में देखे हुए हैं ना तो वहाँ पे
Yeah.
बोइंग के एक्सीडेंट्स बहुत ज़्यादा हुए हैं, एयरबस के
Right.
इतने ज़्यादा नहीं हुए
That's what I said, that Airbus is like automation friendly, technical friendly layout is there. Airbus's cockpit is way too easier than Boeing. Boeing's cockpit is bit of complicated with more human maneuvers required, and more sort of, I think, electrical appliances are also there in Boeing. So the chances of getting mistakes and errors is more in Boeing. So maybe that could be a reason of it. Other than that, it's a technical part, so I won't go deep into that. But yeah, this is the common reason can be considered if we see all the events which have happened, particularly with the Boeing.
particularly.
So this has been the common reason if we see
एक
overall.
बहुत ही कॉमन थिंग है जो एज एन इंजीनियर मैं जानती हूँ बट शायद हमारी ऑडियंसेस नहीं जानती होगी, मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप उनको एक्सप्लेन करें और बताइए कि ये कितना ज़रूर है वाइल यू आर फ्लाइंग और टेकिंग ऑफ, फ़ोन्स को और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस को एयरप्लेन मोड में डालना या स्विच ऑफ करना, जो ज़्यादातर लोग नहीं करते हैं.
Right. So, like on board, there are a lot of appliances, a lot of technical instruments which are there. There are transmitters, radars. So, there's a lot of possibility because of phones transmission. It can get a glitch on that, and it is a hazard to your safety. Obviously, if there comes any glitch in any instrument or any appliances which are on board, then obviously it's a safety hazard. So it's just a safety protocol to switch off your phone or to keep it in airplane mode, so that the radiations and the transmissions which are the radiations and the transmissions which are coming from your phone does not affect the protocols and the procedures which have been done. Like behind the cockpit, obviously you don't know how many electric parts have been there, how many technical parts are there. So obviously it can create a hazard in that. So that's just a safety protocol to keep your phones on airplane mode.
So it is a part of a responsibility because people do not follow it.
Yeah.
जहाँ पे भी आपका जो staff होता है, जो attenders है, they always try, air hostesses keep telling you आप phone पे बात करना बंद कर दीजिए, please बंद कीजिए. But there are people who are not doing it.
Yeah.
Again, a part of a civic sense जिसको बोलते हैं कि civic
Yeah.
sense, already we are lacking into civic sense. Indians बहुत ज़्यादा, क्योंकि every of my guests tell me कि Hiral, we are lacking in a civic sense.
We are, actually we are. And especially, like, I would like to mention the most annoying part, which as a pilot I don't like, is the most annoying part as a pilot I find is when the people as in passengers are on board, and when there's this situation where delay has been there because of maybe any technical error or some problem with the ground, and they start yapping about things like, why is it taking so
Yes.
time, so why is it taking so much of time, what's wrong, these people are so illiterate, they are not responsible for anything, they are not liberal enough. So I would like to say each and every person working over there, whether it's the crew, the pilot, or the ground staff, everybody is there after gaining some or the other training or some of
Very true.
or the other briefing, right? They are not here to intentionally spoil your traveling experience. If something is going on, something is taking time, that is for your own safety, right? Even if there's 0.1% of a risk or a safety hazard, they won't fly. They would rectify that thing and then fly, because it's a thing of a human safety, right? At the end, first of all ours and then yours as well. So then people started yapping that we had to go here, we have paid the money, we have paid so much, and this is taking so much long, this is the worst airline and all those things. Obviously you have to pay, you're not traveling by
Of
bus or
course.
train, you're flying by
By airplane.
air. Yeah, we are flying, you are going, you are traveling by flight. Of course you have to pay.
Right, true.
Yeah.
But you cannot compromise your safety, because people do not understand about the safety concerns.
Yeah,
when
they're
it's
like,
about
do
airplane.
it quick, and these things are way too high technical things. They cannot be done without a experienced engineer. If there is any fault or there is any mistake on board, engineer would come, he would rectify, the pilot would test it, the pilot would make sure that it has been rectified. After that only they will fly. Otherwise they will deboard you. Even they don't have any intention to spoil your traveling experience or to spoil your mood. Even they have to go home and eat and sleep.
Right.
They are tired more than you.
Of course.
So yeah, these kind of things people should keep or cooperate at those time. That obviously if there's something wrong, it would be because of some or the other safety issue would be there. Otherwise no airline or no pilot or no flight would make any delay.
सो अंजलि, आप मुझे ये बताइए कि कौन सी ऐसी सिचुएशन एज अ पायलट अगर आप फेस करती है वेयर यू विल कॉल ऑफ द फ्लाइट, अगर आपको लगता है कि ये पैरामीटर्स ठीक नहीं है व्हेन यू आर एट द फाइनल स्टेज ऑफ फ्लाइंग एंड यू हैव टू स्टार्ट द एयरक्राफ्ट, बट यू फील दैट दिस पैरामीटर्स आर नॉट ओके फॉर यू, जनरल पैरामीटर्स, वहाँ पे यू विल कॉल ऑफ, बिकॉज फॉर अ पायलट पैसेंजर सेफ्टी कम्स फर्स्ट, राइट?
Yeah. So there are no specific parameters toward. So there are no specific parameters towards it. We have been given a checklist which we need to follow for every flight, before a flight, after a takeoff, before landing, after landing. There's always a checklist for everything. So if anything wrong we find with that checklist, we can stop over it. We can consider those parameters as every checklist should be on point. Every checklist needs to be followed. Only if that is on point, then only we'll fly. Other than that, we'll stop there. We'll report an issue and we'll get off, obviously.
सो अगर कोई भी एयर एक्सीडेंट्स होता है, जैसे कि एयर इंडिया का एयर एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, बहुत इजीली पायलट्स आर ब्लेम्ड. उनके बहुत सारे लॉन्ग फ्लाइंग आवर्स होते हैं, दे हैव बीन सो एक्सपीरियंस्ड इनटू इट. शायद कभी कोई टेक्निकल फेलियर्स भी हो सकते हैं, शायद कोई प्री चेक्स रह गए हो, या फिर आई डोंट नो क्या इश्यूज़ होते हैं इन सब चीज़ों में. बट जो एयर इंडिया का रिसेंट इंसिडेंट हुआ अंजलि, उसमें आई थिंक द वर्ल्ड हैज़ नोटिस्ड इट. अगर आपको पता हो
Obviously.
तो द होल वर्ल्ड हैज़ नोटिस्ड इट बिकॉज इट वॉज वेरी वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट. व्हाट इज़ योर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, और आप एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट पायलट आप क्या सोचती हो कि ये इशू हुआ, वॉज इट जस्ट अनफॉर्चुनेट थिंग, या उसके अंदर शायद वो प्रिवेंट किया जा सकता था, आपको लगता है?
See, as a pilot, obviously, I think that was the most unfortunate
Very
event
unfortunate.
for everybody, for the people working in the aviation and for the passenger and for the general public as well, and for the nation and the company as well, because it was a huge incident which frightened up everybody. But as I said that, technical error can be there, pilot error can be there. Any reason, any particular reason, since we didn't got the final report yet, so we don't know what exact reason was there. But yes, it could have been rectified if the flight would have been maintained properly, or maybe I think one of the passengers had reported an issue. The prior flight, before the flight had the prior sector, there was some issue with the, I think, with the seats or with the appliances on board. So if that would have been considered, and a test flight could have been done, or the maintenance checks would have been done, then it could have been neglected or avoided. But yeah, at that moment nobody wasn't aware about this thing, that this could have happened. Even as a pilots, we are not trained for dual engine failure. जब हमें ही ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी जाती है तो वो इंसिडेंट होने का चांस ही नहीं है.
Right.
Like we are given the training for engine failure, but dual engine failure, that is like 0.1 chance कि ऐसा होगा. That is very unfortunate event, or very unfortunate probability to happen, I would say, because अगर वो चीज़ होनी ही नहीं है, उसकी कभी ट्रेनिंग ही नहीं दी है किसी को, तो कभी होगी ही नहीं. तो nobody as pilots, or nobody as the people working on ground had this awareness कि ये fault हो सकता है. But yes, if the maintenance checks were right, or maybe the complaints which were reported prior that sector would have been taken into consideration, then it could have been neglected or avoided, or it could have been rectified, but it didn't happen.
तो अंजलि, मैं ये आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि श्योरली एज लाइक फाइनली यू सेड कि ड्यूअल इंजन फेलियर की ट्रेनिंग नहीं दी जाती पायलट्स को, बिकॉज ये बहुत ही रेयरेस्ट ऑफ रेयर होता है शायद, कि ऐसा होता ही नहीं है एविएशन इंडस्ट्री के अंदर. बट कौन सी इमरजेंसी ट्रेनिंग्स आपको दी जाती है, कौन सी इमरजेंसीज को टैकल करने की ट्रेनिंग्स आपको दी जाती है? बिकॉज यू आर अ वेरी यंग पायलट, सो आपको नहीं पता है, आपने हाईजैक्स नहीं देखे, बट पास्ट में बहुत हाईजैक्स हो चुके हैं जहाँ पे ऑन बोर्ड ऐसी सिचुएशंस आती है जहाँ पे इफ़ देर इज़ अ टेररिस्ट अटैक, और इफ देर इज़ एनी अदर एक्टिविटीज़ विच इज़ गोइंग ऑन, तो उसको टैकल करने की क्या ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है पायलट्स को?
I think the hijack thing has been given to the commercial pilots once they have gained their basic training.
Okay.
That is like the pro or the after part of your main training. Once you have been trained for the main events, like which can be happen where you are operating the aircraft, for say engine fire, or emergency landing, or radio failure.
Yes.
Those kind of things are like very much common, which can happen while you are operating in the cockpit. The hijack thing and everything, अगर आपको कभी पानी में लैंड करना पड़ा और स्विमिंग वाला चीज़, that is like after part. But the main things which have been trained, like the pilots are been trained for these things, like engine fire, radio failure, or emergency landing, or anybody misbehaving on board. Such kind of main things are been trained first of all.
So if somebody is misbehaving, Anjali, so what is the first thing as a pilot you will do if your staff is not able to control them?
Yeah.
Right.
So
and if they're misbehaving and they come to cockpit, right? So as a pilot, how you will tackle it?
So first of all, they are not allowed to come in the
come into cockpit.
If they try to come in the cockpit, it would be considered as a offense, obviously. Then we have to immediately report to the ATC that this kind of incident has been happening on board. Either will land immediately, either will try to coordinate with that person that what is actually problem with him or her, and we'll try to tackle it up. But if the situation or the person is out of control, then we have to land. We have to emergency land.
How about the medical emergencies?
Then obviously we have to land urgently, on an urgent basis. Emergency landings have been performed when there is a medical emergency. Obviously we'll land in the nearest airport whichever is available. But yeah, medical emergency is a thing which needs to be tackled very urgently, or like on a priority basis, which we need to tackle it out. So medical emergencies are very common. But yeah, any person who is misbehaving or tries to open door or tries to misbehave with the crew, which we usually hear in the news and all. So at that moment, as a co-pilot or any pilot would try to, you know, make that person understand or try to understand the situation. And if it is out of control, obviously we have to make an emergency landing to the nearest airport.
Emergency landing में definitely you must be finding the nearby airports to land permission. तो उनकी परमिशन जनरली कुछ ऐसी सिचुएशंस होती है, अगर आप इंटरनेशनल फ्लाई करते हो शायद नहीं दी जा सकती हो, बिकॉज आप अगर यू नो इफ़ यू आर अलाउड टू जस्ट पास थ्रू दैट एयर स्पेस बट यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू लैंड, तो वहाँ पे पायलट कैसे डील करता है ATC के साथ?
See, at that moment, as I said, whichever nearest airport is available. So available is the main word here. Whichever nearest aerodrome or the airport is available, you have to land there. And usually routes have been given that way that even in the case of diversion, the main thing would be, in any case you have to divert or land, any nearby airport would be assigned already on your route or on your flight plan. So even if it takes time, they would make sure that there's any emergency airport in that route. Doesn't matter if it's like 1 hour away, 2 hour away, but whichever airport is available at that moment, you have to divert and you have to land. And I don't think so that any as such route would be given where any airport is not available as such, like,
or not allowed,
yeah,
to
or not
use
allowed
the
to
airspace.
use that. Or you know, if for say Pakistan doesn't allows to use their airspace, then they would not give that route only.
Okay.
They would give that particular route where airspace is available, nearby airport are available, where pilot can land in 15 to 20 minutes in case of any emergency or urgency. So yeah.
So if you are going and taking a sea route, right? Internationally, the sea routes are in the time dimension very big, right? And where there is an emergency landing, so how do you choose the nearest, ATC when you are crossing a sea or the ocean?
Yeah. So before flying or before any flight, pilot usually gets the flight plan and the route. So we are thorough with the navets and the airports and the air raids which are available there. So already we are aware that, you know, on this route, this particular navet is here, this particular aircraft or the alternate aircraft is there. So even in that case, if we need to divert or we have any emergency, we can. At that moment, we can divert. Yeah, over the sea, it's usually the long haul flights. So at that moment, all the safety protocols are there which needs to be followed. So usually pilots do follow those protocols and they make sure that over the sea there's no as such of emergency. Only the thing which can pop up is medical emergency or any technical error, but that also can be rectified, because if the long haul flight is there, then the pilots would be way too experienced pilot. So it's usually, the situation is usually handed over by the captain. So yeah, I don't think so there's any incident or any past event being recorded where, you know, they have faced any emergency which is over sea, except for the emergency landing. But yeah, that can be sorted easily.
All the flights which has faced the emergency in the sea have crashed. According
Not
to
crashed.
Because I would like to tell you, I was going to China through the Malaysian airline, and you know
Okay.
that the Malaysian airline, I forgot the number, the flight number.
Okay.
It vanished, if you know.
Okay.
In the Malaysian airspace only, and nobody knew where the flight went. And
Yeah,
still
I have.
till today, nobody has found even the black box of the flight. Malaysian airline. I think 573 was the number, maybe, if I remember.
Yeah, I have heard a lot of incidents
Malaysian.
like these. This one also, and similar to these kind of incidents I have heard. But I don't know how this thing would have happened, because it's totally impractical.
Okay.
That cannot happen.
But on those incidents, they are very mysteriously gone flights, right? Even if
Yeah.
you go under the sea, the wreckage would have, flown out, and you can
Yeah.
find the wreckage of the flights. Maybe.
Exactly.
But how the flights have disappeared, where you have not found even a black box, even nothing.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. You have anything to say about it? How mysterious? Even the Bermuda Triangle, if you know.
Yeah,
That
Bermuda
people,
Triangle.
yes, the pilots are avoiding the Bermuda Triangles.
Obviously, because if you go inside that, you cannot come back.
Yes.
That is still practical because it's a natural cause. But flights getting vanished away.
But in the
that is
Bermuda
like-
Triangle, they also say that the flights are getting vanished away.
Yeah, because Bermuda Triangle is, I think, way too big disaster and way too like big. I'm not
Patch,
getting
very
a
big patch.
I'm not getting a proper word of it, but yeah, it is like very much of like wavy and moving. That's why they have to avoid. Obviously, they have to avoid. There are a lot of places and lot of particular spots which are being allotted and which are need to be avoided. And Bermuda Triangle is one of it, but I don't know the exact reason.
Because even in the Bermuda Triangle, the ships are not allowed.
Yes.
Not only the flights, the ships
Yeah.
are not allowed. The
Because I
flights
think
are-
it's like a cyclone. It's
Okay.
like a inverted cyclone. It's always moving. So if you go over it or above it, it'll drag you down. So maybe that could be the reason that it has been avoided. But yes, in detail, we have to study Bermuda Triangle then.
Bermuda Triangle. But yes, it's been avoided by
It has been
many
avoided.
years, right?
It has been because of its. I think it is very huge and it's a kind of inverted cyclone. So that's why it just drags everything
you.
inside it. So better to avoid it.
So great, Anjali. This was my 1 hour with you, and
Okay.
you have been pretty technically, very sound, and maybe you have break so many myths about, the people who are traveling and flying through it. So I would like to end our podcast with the rapid fire questions.
Oh, that's a very interesting
very
part.
interesting part because people think a lot. My guests think a lot before answering. This is the only part where they don't have much time to think about it.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to rapidly answer my questions, whatever I ask you.
Sure.
So it will be like, what you can say, very prompt.
Okay.
Very prompt answer. Okay,
Okay.
so my first question to you is, what would you prefer? Passport full of stamps or flying logbook full of hours?
Obviously, flying logbook full of hours.
Okay. Early morning flight or the red eye flight?
Early morning.
Early morning.
Yes.
Aviation passion or aviation lifestyle?
Aviation passion.
Okay. Focus or confidence?
Focus.
Discipline or adaptability?
Discipline.
Training days or flying days?
Training days for sure. You will get a lot of fun stories
Fun
from
stories.
that.
Recognition or responsibility?
Responsibility.
Long haul flights or short haul flights?
Short haul flights.
Fame or respect?
Respect for sure.
One word that defines a great pilot.
There's no word for a great pilot. For me, every pilot is great. Any pilot who can land safely, who can take that accountability of their own safety and others, is a great pilot.
Thank you. That was a great 1 hour with you. लड़कियां कार नहीं चला सकती बट प्लेन उड़ा सकती है. अगर आपने अंजलि का पॉडकास्ट पूरा देखा है तो शी इज़ सच अ रिस्पॉन्सिबल जेंजी पायलट. आप ये पूरा पॉडकास्ट देखने के बाद शायद आपकी लड़कियों के लिए और जेंजी के लिए थॉट प्रोसेस कम्प्लीटली चेंज हो जाने वाली है. आप चाहते हैं अंजलि से कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछना चाहते हैं, आप फ्लाइंग के बारे में डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं कि पायलट कैसे बना जा सकता है, क्या एकेडमिक्स है, आप मुझे प्लीज़ कमेंट में बताइएगा. और आप चाहते हैं कि ऐसे ही पॉडकास्ट मैं आपके सामने लाती रहूँ तो प्लीज़ मेरी चैनल को सब्सक्राइब सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा एंड प्लीज़ लेट मी नो व्हाट मोर सेगमेंट के लोग से आप मिलना चाहते, प्रोफेशनल से आप मिलना चाहते. दैट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर अस टू डिज़ाइन अ पॉडकास्ट जो सिर्फ आपके लिए हो. थैंक यू सो मच.